you. So my name is Emilian. I am the head of advertising in Mindvalley. If you're familiar with Mindvalley, originally I'm from Romania. To start with this quick background about myself, I worked in 5 different countries, 4 different continents already in advertising, from design to branding and I ended up in digital advertising, which is traffic, basically generating traffic for websites. I like to call it modern advertising because it's going digital. Everything we do nowadays, it's translated no longer into like ads from like billboards to magazines, because you can demand a direct action and you can know it instantly because it's judged by clicks. So everything buttons down actually to clicks nowadays. So to start with, where does advertising come from? Advertising comes from the Latin word adverte, which means to turn around. So you basically, what we want to do is turn the attention towards our product, towards our business, towards whatever we want. So that is like the concept of advertising, turning people towards in your direction. Now, I want to walk you to the quick intro about the agenda. So we're going to go through like just a quick intro in general about digital advertising. Then we're going to break it down in 3 concepts, and there are 3 key things. I broke it down like really simple, but there are 3 key things. And if you want, and if you have your laptops, after we're going to have a session, we can implement them now. And they're really, really basic, so there'll be 3 key takeaways. How do you use search? How do you leverage the social aspect of digital advertising, and the display? And when it's display, like how do you encompass, like in this World Wide Web, how do you bring back people to your website? The relevant people, how do you bring them back? So you remarket them. So you sell them more, or you demand more actions from them. So I will start with the intro, and it's it's a shortcut of my name. My friends call me Emmy. I broke it down in everybody's online, it's measurable, and it's immediate, right? So this is the beauty of digital advertising. This will be easy to remember, Emmy. You can track anything. You launch an initiative and it's there. Like everybody's online nowadays. You can reach them really easy. It's measurable because you can know, like, did they click? Yeah. What's the action that you demand from them? It's measurable. You know who converts, who doesn't, who takes the action, and it's immediate. Here, there are 3 golden steps that you actually need to start with. What is your advertising goal? Whenever you think of like doing advertising, you need to know what is your advertising goal. Is it generating more traffic or bringing traffic to my website? For what? Do you want them to sign up for something? Do you want them to buy something? Do you want, more for them to spread the word, so to share? So you need to define your advertising goal. Then, after you define your advertising goal, you need to break it down in so-called KPIs, key points of interest, where exactly measurable things now. Advertising goal is like you need to like be really precise, of like that decide on what you want to do advertise for, because advertising, it's investing money. Even though it might not be much to start with, but still, do not invest not even 1 ringgit before you actually decide on why. When you decide why you want to invest, you actually break it down. Okay, what will be my KPIs for? So let's say for a magazine would be to subscribe to their newsletter. That's a KPI, the sign-up rate. So you always monitor that. You break it down in exact things that you can measure. And last one is research and test. Once you define everything, you have to research again. You need to have a complete understanding of everything that's around your product before you actually go to the testing phase. When you go to the testing, you see what works, then you go back and research again. Then you go and test, research again. Based on what you see it works. Usually when you launch something, you launch it from 4 angles, let's say. That's always my approach. I try to come up with 4 different angles for an idea, psychological concepts. And then I see which of the 4 angles works. Once I identify which works, I go back to researching. I research that specific angle that worked. So you always research and test. Then you go back to research. And like I said in the bottom, like you always need to be curious of like, why did this work? So that's when the research happens again. When you tested something, you want to go back and like always ask questions like why. You're going back and saying like, why did this work, right? How did this happen? So when you start being curious, you go back and learn, and then you go ahead and test more. Researching. Everything starts with researching. So I want to basically, there are 4 concepts which you need to cover when you're researching something. It's your product. So it's brand, then your niche, your competitors, and the social aspect, everything that's around it. So your brand. I took, for example, you have a product and you always have an author, let's say. I took day 1, which is this program. Who is the author? The Incitement, right? The people who are actually creating it. Now, your niche. You need to know your specific niche, your exact niche. What is it? Because then you know how to cater your message towards like the audience. Because again, going back to the basic, digital advertising, it's beautiful because you can reach the exact people you're looking for. It's not a billboard and like maybe somebody will pass by in your interest group. No, you can target them specifically. So then you need to know your niche. In this case would be, I just put it now, like startup. Lateral niches, because sometimes your exact niche might be small. And you want to like also know like all the lateral niches, like which are similar ones that those people might be interested. So it's knowing like you also have that, so you study from also the lateral niches that are around you, so you study from it. And then what is your big niche? Your big niche, this is also something to learn from an encompassing thing. So entrepreneurship would encompass all the lateral niches. Your exact niche is in the center. You have lateral, which are similar niches, and then you need to know what's your big one. There's always a big one. So you need to like encompass it in something bigger, so you understand also the concept. And then it's again researching and testing. Competitors. In this case would be TEDx. I love doing this, like researching, because you get to like even get ideas of like how to write your advertising angle, how to write your ad. Copy and paste sometimes like works best. You just like it's something that, for example, Kyrie, because we have Kyrie like working together, and it was something that like stuck to me when he said like, try to look for an ad multiple weeks in a row when you search for something, for a product. And if you see an ad multiple weeks in a row running, you can only get 2 conclusions out of it. 1, that person who's doing is really dumb and is wasting money and he doesn't have no clue what he's doing because he keeps it running, or it's either really well and is performing really good, so he's obviously onto something. So you take that thing, because of the research, you take that thing and you try to copy paste. Of course, you change it and you make it specific for your product, but don't reinvent the wheel kind of a thing. It's already working. They're testing it, and if it's running again and again, like there you go. And the social aspect. The social aspect is, this is where you understand exactly who your community is, because you want to target people, audiences. So when you start going into, just with Google, you go on Google and you search for entrepreneurship forums, like you go on Facebook and you look entrepreneurship or startup, and you just browse through. It takes maybe an hour or 2. You just browse through the comments, you browse through the topics. In forums, for example, you go and see which topic has the most views, the most comments. So you get to understand. When you get to understand what they're talking about, you get also ideas of how to reach them. Because people when you do advertising, people like stuff, or people visit basically certain types of websites. So then when you start reading about what are they talking, it's really easy. Those are already your targeting options. You know how to reach them because you understand the community. So we're going to start with search. Search is, you want to make sure, as I was telling you before, when you launch a business, sometimes it's not good and it's not wise to invest 6 months of building organically when you can test something really quick. So that's where even like search comes in. So step 1, you can actually test now an idea. If you have it online, you can use a software, for example, like Lead Pages. Magda was talking about it. In Lead Pages, you can actually, you just subscribe to it. In 10 minutes, you can have a website. You just put a headline, you put a sign-up box, and you put I don't know, like a bit more text. Your product doesn't even need to be ready. You can just test out the angle. So you just ask people to subscribe. They subscribe even though your product is not ready. And then you say, oh, we're sorry, like we're experiencing some technical difficulties. The product will be ready in a month, in 2. You already got your angle because you test 4 different stuff. You're already like in the top of Google, and within 1 or 2 days, you already have something to start with. It's not, you're not going based on assumptions, you're going based on numbers. Everything starts with a click. From clicks, you move to cost per click, which is a notion of calling like CPC. How much are you willing to pay for a click? Because sometimes you have 10 people, right? 10 people, they're all bidding for the same click. I'm doing a search on instant coffee in Kuala Lumpur. You have like 10 of you all selling like instant coffee. So then, depending on how much you're willing to pay your cost per click, that's how you even like decide, like it's one of the factors that they're gonna decide if you're gonna appear first, second, or third. So you also like with that, you just again, you need to test to see basically what is your cost per click. Then click-through rate. When you show an ad, this is a really important measurement for digital advertising in general. Click-through rate is you show an ad. When somebody sees it, do they click on it or do they walk away? So this is basically how many times a person saw an ad, how many times they clicked that ad. You divide these and you have your click-through rate. And that's why like you see, okay, if you have 4 ads that are running, you're going to be like, okay, out of the 4, this one has the best click-through rate. So the ratio between how many times this ad shown and how many times it clicked. So already you know you're stumbling across something there. Then you have cost. Cost is your number of clicks and how much you pay for each. That's how much you're going to pay for it. So the entire cost, like 1 ringgit plus 1 ringgit plus 1 ringgit, you're going to end up on a daily budget. So a daily budget, you can set a cap. On a daily budget can be, I usually start with 10 ringgit, for example, here. 10 ringgit on one ringgit per click. Just to test out an idea, I test with a 10 ringgit budget. So those would be your costs. Conversions. Conversions, as I was telling you, you want to define your KPIs. So you define your advertising goal. You say, I want to get more signups. I want to get more signups for my newsletter. That's my advertising goal. Then how do I break it? How do I break it in like a specific KPI? You set a conversion. So when you show an ad to somebody, they click on that ad, they land on your page. When they land on your page, you're going to ask them to sign up for a newsletter. Do they sign up or they don't? So how do you track if they sign up? When you actually leave your email and they click, okay, sign up, on the next page, the thank you page, is just a copy pasting a code. A code in WordPress is really easy because you have plugins. So then when they visit the next page, the thank you page, and the code is there, you track it at a conversion. So they successfully completed the funnel that you actually you wanted them to, from showing them an ad, then clicking, coming to your landing page, and subscribing, and when they go to the thank you page, you actually track that. So you start tracking conversion. This is really important because you need to track performance on an ad level. So which are your best ads? And that one, you track it with the click-through rate. How many times an ad is clicked? Then you want to track, okay, out of those ads, which is the ad that's bringing me the most leads? Basically breaking it out to your KPI. And this, you track it thoroughly and daily. You need to look into it because you're investing money. It's not you're living and running. So it's good to track something because then, okay, out of these 4, I have 2 that are working really well. The other 2, just kill them. You just pause them. And then your budget will go to those 2 winning ads. But again, it comes down to your KPIs And conversions is the best way to actually track something, because you're tracking actions. Conversion rate is the same as the click-through rate. How many people landed on your website? How many people converted? Really simple, and this is something, for me, this is the most important metric I look at, my conversion rate. What is my conversion rate to all the traffic that I captured, that I brought to my website? Do they convert? Do they go take the action I desired from them? Yes, no. If it's a no, you need to go back to researching and testing again until you find you improve your conversion rate. After you launch your website, after you launch your product, in Google, I wouldn't advise you to actually go and do generic campaigns. So if you're selling chocolate, I wouldn't say do not start bidding on all the people who are looking for chocolate, because it might get really, really expensive. Because there's so many people looking for it, and it's impossible to capture that exact thing they're looking for, because you don't know what exactly are they looking for. So on search, on Google, still to be present, you would only target, I go only my brand campaigns. Something absolutely very, very important before you even think of anything, tracking and tracking and tracking again. Defining your KPIs, you need to track them, you need to be on top of them, because you're investing money, and this is an exact science, actually. And if you track it, it's really easy, because you're looking at 4 campaigns that are all basically having different stuff, and you can know which one is working. Oh, that one. So then you need to make sure you track everything. Moving on to social. Social. So with search, we made sure we're relevant for our brand, and we don't waste money, because again, Google can, because of today's competition, gets really expensive. So I wouldn't advise in the beginning to start really generic campaigns. So regardless of what the niche that your business is in, Google search can get really expensive. Then make sure you're always there with the brand. And now, how do you find people to bring new people to your website? People who didn't hear of it, and you want to bring them and show them to your website. Here is where social comes in, and it's cheaper, it's interactive, it's a two-way communication, which is really easy to start with. And it's also, again, it gives you more space, because when Google, you saw the ad. You cannot say much in an ad. But in social, like on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest, you can write really nice big images, or even write entire posts. And that can be, it's a story. It's a two-way communication. It's a way better way to start your business with driving new traffic. It will be social. And to make it a bit fun, I'm gonna share I'm gonna start with a case study, and with that we're gonna build on maybe even taking one of if somebody has already a business and is considering driving traffic, we can even try to build a same case study for your business. Speed dating. Everybody familiar with the concept, I guess? So you start with researching again. Researching is who is your target market? Your target market might be Kuala Lumpur, I don't know, and you just want to target the people, let's say expats living here. You go on the Facebook platform, you put your target, you put Kuala Lumpur, and then you go, what are the people these people interested in? And you kind of you build basically your persona, your avatar. People living in Kuala Lumpur, and they're interested in, let's say, Tinder, or they like Tinder, or they like matchmaking, or what are the things that they would like on Facebook, and you put them there. And then Facebook will give you, okay, in Kuala Lumpur, people who like this, there are these many people you can find. There are 10,000 people who like Tinder, or there are 100,000 people who like love or comment the word love. So you can play with this, and I would advise just try to go on a 10,000 people audience, not less, because you will not get enough traffic. So you just play around and add on interests based on Kuala Lumpur, and then you see. So that's how you actually find what is the social potential for each of this, of basically of your business. And when you find something, you just replicate the campaigns. So you replicate, okay, I found that a lot of people like Tinder, okay, what's similar to Tinder? And you find a similar interest to Tinder and you replicate it. You do the same thing, you go and search again, you find an audience of at least like 10,000 people, you launch it in a new campaign. And here's the example, where you find your target group is 25, 45, female and male. You can choose their marital status because it's Facebook. They know too much about us than they actually should. Singles, and then people who are interested in speed dating, Tinder, or matchmaking. So these are interests which you just type there, and they will give you, okay, based on these four, it will give you, okay, this might be people who live in Kuala Lumpur who are between 25, 45, female, singles, and like this stuff. They will give me, okay, there are 100,000 people. So there you go, this is one. Then you move over to the next one. Setting up the campaigns. Setting up the campaigns is really good to differentiate between campaigns. You want to launch multiple campaigns just because you want to track them. You don't want to launch something that's very generic, because then if it stops performing, it's not performing as you wish, you will say like, this doesn't perform, and I will just pause it. But maybe it performs. It's just you didn't segment it the proper way, because when you start segmenting it in different campaigns, you get individual numbers for each campaign. So one campaign can be with interest, the Tinder, one can be with love, one can be with matchmaking. So if you have 3 campaigns, you will see, okay, which of these interests work better. So the rest, if they don't work, you just pause them, but you still have a winner. And with that, you build on, you again replicate. Writing good ads on Facebook. It's a technique that really did me good when I heard it. It's the AIDA method. You need the attention grabbing should be in a headline, so you want to catch the attention. You want to build interest. So you give them usually a feature of what exactly is the service you're providing. You want to build a desire. So just usually also this works well with curiosity or desire, and you want to tell them what to do. What's your call to action? And to give an example, are you still looking for the one? This basically, it's attention grabbing. Then you go, join us for the hottest speed dating event in KL. That's your interest. And meet the people that, and even perhaps your soulmate, right? That builds desire, curiosity in a way. And third, learn more about this event. It's a clear call to action. They know their click. They know exactly what to do. Because if you don't tell them, you will be scrolling through your newsfeed, and then they'll read it. Well, just move on. If you don't, okay, click. Now, once you launch the campaigns, now that you've learned like how to research for them, how to write an ad, how do we optimize on Facebook, the same way, making sure you don't waste money. You always monitor your cost per conversion, per lead. Like the desire you actually asking them to take is the same in Google. You put a conversion code on the page and you will know immediately which of them works. So you monitor that on a daily basis. Because it's a two-way communication, you need to build a communication, like start talking to them, reply to comments, and remove spam comments on your ads, because there are a lot of also like spammers. This is a really good way to start because it gives more color to your brand when you start with social. You refresh ads. If you're targeting 10,000 people, those 10,000 people, you want to leave the campaign running for a week. Probably a person is going to see the ad more than once, right? Twice, 3 times. Refresh your ads. When you refresh your ads, you just change the image or just change the headline, change something. So then if you didn't get them the first time when they saw it, now when you refresh it after a week, this time if you write in a different way, they will click this time. But refresh them because people see them frequently, and that doesn't, your performance will just drop if you don't focus on changing the ads. When you find, I told you, you launch 4 campaigns. When you find a campaign that works, just try to build onto it. Allocate more budget to start with to that campaign, and you just build on, okay, this is something that works, pause the other ones, and just focus on that. try to scale that, bring more of that traffic. You kill the losers, basically. This one, do not be afraid to kill. Even though it's like maybe the performance in between, no, kill it and focus on the one that's winning, scaling that up. How do you scale it? You brainstorm on your interest. So based on that, you try to replicate, find more interest. Then retargeting, the people that land on your website, you try to retarget them, and this is going to be my next topic. Custom audiences, it's exactly, you put a pixel, you put again a code, a tracking code on your website, and it's just like you're asking people to subscribe. What this code does, it actually captures their browser ID. So you are able to like keep a database of all the people who visited your website, and you can show them an ad at any point. Automated algorithms. OCPM, it's a concept where once you have a campaign running for a few days, you can actually tell Facebook, okay, learn from the history of the campaign and just give me more people like this. So their automated algorithms would help you actually scale it up. And it's just with the click of a button, and whoever is interested, like, I would love to sit down with you and actually implement these 3 things. One would be quickly implement the brand campaign. Even though you don't launch it, you have it there, maybe in the future, you'll be like, why not? And you have something to refer to. It's 3 key takeaways. One will be the search. We launch, we just keep them there. We structure them, and you pause them, a Facebook campaign, and you can relate to it. And next will be retargeting. Now, we talked about being relevant, always making sure you don't waste money on Google, you're there for your brand. That's capturing basically the relevant audience who know about you. Then how do you get new people you bring them to your website to discover you? That's through social and Facebook. And because just the way you can communicate. And now, once you do this, how do you make sure you bring the people that are relevant back to your website? How do you make sure you bring the people that, for example, the people that sign up for your free stuff, how do you bring them back? Because obviously if you launch even a new service or an add-on, you want to bring them back. Because they're the relevant people who already know about you. So you already they're familiar with you. So you want to make sure you always bring them back. With Google, you can do that. And usually you will see these kind of ads. And again, you can see the ad, you can find a Google ad by that small logo, which that tells you it's a Google ad. So this one, usually when you're when you visit a website, have you ever visited Agoda and you see then, or Zalora, and then you go on Facebook, and they're the exact same product you visited on the website, they give it to you in an ad. Or any of the travel agencies, Agoda, you look for I go look for Penang, for Langkawi, and for Tioman. The next thing, when I exit the website, they retarget me right away. So this is also something that you can do. And it's because these are the most relevant people that they engage with your brand. Even if you don't do anything with it now, start tracking them, start having them there, because you might just want to at some point. When we talk about retargeting, we're going into display advertising. And this display advertising, you're going to play with 3 concepts. Text ads, they're the same rules as the search. So you will just say, show online text ads, the same things. You have image ads, and here you want to emphasize on the brand. So you want to put your logo, so you also show your brand. And then audiences. Audiences is exactly the term, is the people who come and land to your website. You can separate that. You build audiences. You build an audience of visitors. The audience of visitors are all the people who ever landed on your website. Now you build a second audience. You segment that big amount of traffic that came. You want to segment them. And I wanted my second audience to be, I call them leads. Leads are people who signed up for my free ebook, who signed up for my free newsletter. So people who already took an action. And third, if I'm selling something, I want to make an audience, a list of all my customers. So you can segment these 3. So then you start with 3 things. And you know who are the people that are relevant to you, and you know who you're talking to. If they're visitors, if they're people who already made an action or made a purchase. And when you actually go a bit more in deep, the concept of remarketing is you need to set up the remarketing pixels. The same as with Google Analytics, the same as it's with the conversion codes when you want to track actions. This is a third type of code. It's just a code which you copy and paste on your entire website, and you start tracking people. After you like implemented that on your website, really easy copy and paste, and WordPress has amazing plugins for it. You create remarketing lists. This is with 2 clicks of a button. There's nothing scary, I can guarantee you, and I would love to do it with you after. You just create those, go and create those 3 lists, and segmenting all of the traffic that comes into your website. Okay, these guys, put them in that list, these guys, put them in that list, and in that list, based on what actions they perform on your website. Because then you know who you're talking to. If you're launching a new product, your customers, you know that they bought from you before. You're going to have a different message towards your customers, like, hey, we launched a new thing. It's a different message towards your customer than it is towards your visitors who did not perform any action. They just land on your website and they exited. So to them, maybe you don't want to sell them something straight away. You want to tell them, hey, sign up for this free course. When you actually launch campaigns, it's really good where you target your visitors. These are the 3 campaigns which I always try to structure from the beginning. You target your visitors and you try to bring them back to your landing page, to your website, just for them to offer them incentive for free to perform an initial action. Because when they perform initial action, when they give you their email, as simple as giving you your email, sign up for a free thing, they're already more engaged than just visiting. So I tend to bring them, the people who landed on my website but did not sign up, I try to bring them and make them to sign up. That's a desired action. Then, for the people that sign up, I want to show them my offer, right? They already signed up, they're engaged. So I want to show them my offer. So I'll show them an ad with my first product. Now, for the last one are my customers. My customers are the one people who already bought. I want to show them other offers that I have. If you don't have any other offers, you can even come up with an affiliate product which you can sell. But you already know that they bought. So you target them with, as you can see, 3 different segments. You target them with the relevant stuff because they're at a different engagement with your business. So this one will perform really well because, again, you know who you're talking to. And the ads, what are the ads that you actually write for these campaigns? For the visitors, you will try to get them to sign up. That's the desired action. That's how you talk to them. For the leads, you want to try them to buy. The people already sign up for a free thing. You want to try to convince them to buy. And for the people who bought, you want them to buy more. It's easy. Those are that list you want to obviously increase because that's your gold mine and that's your asset. You want to build your customers list because the recurrent customers will just generate profit basically. And I would like to end it like this. Let's get our hands dirty. I'll be probably around here. Even though you don't do anything, you're not planning to do it now. Keep this in mind because a year from now, you're already having people on that list on both Facebook and on Google. And you keep tracking them, you're adding them to this database. For you don't have to do anything. You just put it once. It's a 10-minute setup for all of the things that I shared. In 10 minutes, you can do all of this with your basic campaigns. You don't need to launch the campaign, but keep them there. You will have an example to refer back to. And also, when you start tracking people and you add them to those lists, whenever you're actually going to launch something, you just go on your campaign and you put on. It's easy. So I really advise you to do this, and you'll thank these guys later because it's an asset that a lot of people do not know about, but it's an asset that you keep growing it even without doing nothing. So it's there. So make basically take advantage of the modern times we live in and the beauty of beauty and curse, because even myself, I get followed everywhere with ads. But make advantage of this, the beauty and curse of modern advertising, which is digital, where you can track everyone. Thank you, guys.